5 rescued, 9 bodies recovered as search continues after Zamfara boat mishap. Bandits kill 3, abduct 30 in new Kaduna church attacks. Fuel price hike forces private car owners to abandon vehicles amid growing economic hardship. And on the international scene, Bamako airport shut down following gunmen attack on Mali police base. Very good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. My name is Sakir Ibrahim. And to the details now, 5 persons have been rescued and 9 bodies recovered from the boat accident that occurred on Sunday in Masher Yandaga River in Gumi local government area of Zamfara State. A statement by the National Emergency Management Agency's Manzo Ezekiel on Tuesday said the boat involved in the accident was carrying over 40 passengers, mostly farmers and crewmen, when it capsized as a result of overload and high river current. The statement was released after NEMA, through its Sokoto Operation Office in conjunction with Zamfara State Emergency Management Agency, Gumi local government, authorities, community leaders, the Red Cross and other stakeholders involved in the operation assessed the disaster. Following the accident, rescuers consisting mostly of local divers and fishermen were mobilized and managed to rescue 5 alive. According to NEMA, 9 bodies of passengers have been recovered so far, while search and rescue operations is continuing. Other passengers comprising men, women and children remain unaccounted for. Communities situated downstream along the river channel have been alerted to help in looking out for bodies that may later float to their locations. And standing by now to give details on this development is Trust TV's regional editor, Ishao Adamu. Good evening, Ishao. Welcome to the news update. Can you give us more details of the situation that transpired in Zamfara on Sunday?
Well, like you have rightly said, it's a boat mishap that occurred in Gumi local government. But there are some mix-up in the story because it's 2 incidences that happened. One in Gumi town and the other in Nasarawa Kipi.
Okay.
So the discovery of the corpse was on the second incidence, where 5 corpses were recovered today. But I have called 3 people in Gumi town regarding the first incidence to find out whether they have recovered any corpse. But up till this today, nobody is recovered, and there's no corpse that also recovered on the in the river. They have searched severally, but they could not find any corpse. But for the second incident, it was confirmed that 5 corpses have been recovered.
Okay, Ishao, can you speak to us about the safety of boat transport in Gumi local government and, speak to whether any investigation is going to be carried out in order to sanction those who are responsible for ensuring the safety, of boat transportation for citizens who use it on a daily basis?
Well, the complaint the people have been doing is that these boats have been used for several years. And this year's rainy season, we have witnessed heavy rainfall in some parts of the country. So they have been complaining that they need modern boats. In fact, one of the elders I spoke with, he said they have lodged their complaints through the local government authorities in order to get modern boats, but nothing is forthcoming on the part of government. Secondly, the Sarkin Gumi, Justice Lawal Gumi, has sent his representative to Gumi, to the area where this incident happened, to find out the causes and possible solutions to the problem. One of the captains that I spoke with, he confirmed to me that there is much needed intervention from the government. That one, they should control the passengers because they have their own problem.
Okay.
The boats are not many, so anytime there is availability of a boat, everybody will say he must join that boat. That is what is causing the overload problem. So they need to have at least a committee that will control the passengers, because the captains have no power to control people that are using the boats. So he's advising that the local government authority, in collaboration with the traditional institution, should provide a committee that is going to regulate how these captains are going to operate and how many people should be carried on the boats. So he assured that if government and the traditional rulers can come in that respect, definitely they will minimize such incidences in the area.
Isha Adabu, Daily Trust Regional Editor, thank you so much for the update on the developments.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Isha Adamu speaking to us on the unfortunate development that happened in Gumi local government of Zamfara state. Moving on now, at least 7 people have lost their lives to a cholera outbreak in Yola North local government area of Adamawa state, while 71 others have been hospitalized. The National Emergency Management Agency disclosed this in a statement shared on its X handle on Tuesday. According to NEMA, the cholera outbreak was caused by a recent flood that contaminated the community's drinking water sources. The statement added that around 100 people were also under monitoring and observation. NEMA further disclosed that it had collaborated with the state government to implement emergency measures aimed at mitigating the impact of the disease. The agency noted that they have also conducted community education to raise awareness about the disease, adding that it is closely monitoring the situation and coordinating with stakeholders for timely intervention. At least 3 persons have been reported killed and many others kidnapped following a bandit attack on 2 churches in Bakimpa Maro community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. Eyewitnesses said the incident occurred on Sunday morning when the bandits in large numbers invaded the Ekwa and Catholic churches in the area during church services. A former chairman of the Kajuru local government, Kafra Kaino, said the bandits took away 30 persons, including a pastor, Bernard Gajera, from both churches. Confirming the incident, a spokesman for the Kaduna State Police Command, ASP Mansir Hassan, said 3 persons were killed by the bandits. The police spokesman said the exact number of those abducted was yet to be ascertained. He, however, said the police, in collaboration with sister agencies, have launched a manhunt for the fleeing bandits to arrest them and rescue the abducted individuals safe and alive. And also, troops of Operation Safe Haven have arrested 5 notorious gun runners and recovered arms and ammunition in an intelligence-driven operation carried out in Plateau State. A statement by the Military Public Information Officer, Operation Safe Haven, Major Stephen Jacom, on Tuesday said the feat is in pursuance of one of its core mandates of mopping up illegal arms and ammunition in the joint operations area. According to him, the operation commenced from midnight on 16th September to early hours of 17th September 2024. He said the troops raided the hideout of a gun runner identified as Mohammed Sani at Naraguta mining area in Bayameni along Bauchi Road in Jos North local government area of Plateau State, during which the suspected gun runner and 4 others were arrested. Some of the weapons and ammunition recovered during the operations include 2 AK-47 rifles, 1 Fabrique Nationale automatic rifle, 14 AK-47 magazines and 1 Fabrique Nationale magazine. Other recovered items are 5,316 rounds of 7.62 mm special, 98 rounds of 7.62 mm NATO, and 43 rounds of 9.9 mm ammunition. Patients and their relatives in Jos, the Plateau State capital, have been reacting to the surge in the prices of medications, especially prescription drugs in the area. They said the situation is gradually driving basic healthcare beyond the reach of ordinary Nigerians whose earnings are no longer enough to pay for medical services and supplies. Trust TV's Ado Musa completes the report.
The removal of fuel subsidy came a surge in prices of goods and services across the country. This development has sparked widespread protests by millions of Nigerians who are decrying the resultant economic hardship. Patients and their relatives in Jos, the Plateau State capital, are lamenting that the situation is severely impacting their expenses, including their ability to purchase essential medications.
Magunguna kuma ba yadda ka iya siya. Ba ka da kuɗi ai sai dai a yi rashi kawai.
I am a patient. We cannot buy drugs at the moment. This means that if you don't have money, you simply have to suffer or even die. I remember that in the 90s, drugs were given for free, but today, that is not the case. If you don't have money, you can't treat any disease. We have left everything in God's hands.
Well, this cost of drugs is almost everywhere in just not, because if doctor prescribe the drug to the patient, if most of them they cannot afford to buy the drugs because the drugs is very cost now.
We are really finding it very difficult to purchase drugs these days because they are very expensive. I have been managing hypertension for 2 years now, so I know what I am going through. I cannot afford my drugs anymore because they have become too expensive. I have stopped taking them because I don't have money to buy them. What impact is the current situation having on pharmacies in Jos? A pharmacist has this to say.
If you look at it from the patronage aspect, it's getting down almost every single day. People come, like, on a normal day, they do come with their prescriptions. Maybe even if they can't buy all, they buy some. But now, in some essence, they just go back home with their prescriptions. They don't have money to buy.
He also spoke of the impact of expensive drugs on access to medication.
Actually, it is completely challenging the essence of the healthcare entirely, because there are some certain medications that are specific to be taken for some specific period of time, and if a customer can afford to buy for that specific period, there is no point of buying them at all.
The federal government ordered a reduction in the prices of medicine, but the directive has yet to take effect, making many wonder what the likelihood of implementing this order will be.
For the government to say that the private sector involved in production of pharmaceutical companies should bring down the price is actually not in line with the idea of a capitalist economy like our own. The only thing the government can do, since most of the generic drugs that we import are from Asia, especially India and China, all that government could do to really bring down the prices of those drugs is to reduce the import duty.
The federal government says it remains optimistic that Nigerians' future in the health sector will be one to reckon with. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Recent increase in fuel prices across the country has forced many private car owners to park their cars and switch to public transportation. In Lagos State, many private car owners, particularly those whose businesses are on the island, have turned to public transport services, while ride-hailing companies are now sticking to specific routes, as many of their customers can no longer afford the increased fares. Victoria Tokolo's report is presented from our studio.
The recent surge in fuel prices across the country has left many citizens grappling with the rising costs of commuting, forcing them to adopt new strategies to cope. This is the case in Lagos, as petrol prices have now exceeded 950 naira per litre at NNPC filling stations and reaching as high up to 1,200, 1,300 at other retail outlets, causing the financial strain to be felt across all sectors. Ride-hailing companies have been skeptical about the use of air conditioning during trips, as well as accepting long trips due to the increase in fuel prices.
And I normally go out with my car and wind down properly. Like other motorists, they normally wind up. They normally wind down. Many people are no longer using the AC on their various cars. So the situation is very critical. As of now, as I'm talking to you. So people are no longer owning AC in their car.
Before, I used to go to mainland very well, but for now, as at now, I cannot go to mainland as usual before. So rather, if I want to pick something in mainland, I would prefer to enter a public transport box. Then I cannot even run the AC as usual as before now. Before I buy for, if I want to go to mainland and in Ekpe or Aja before, I will buy for like 3,000, 4,000. But now is about, if I want to go to mainland, I will need to buy for like 15 to 17,000 naira now.
With intracity fares now hiked, private car owners say it is now cheaper to use public transport for their daily shuttles.
You see the fuel matter. Firstly, I'm not running the AC with the fuel because the price of the fuel is too expensive. Number two, if I'm going to Ireland, most of the time I used to enter public bus because suddenly at the rate of 950, 100, 1,000, it's too dear to buy. And if you buy it before you know the next, if you buy like 20,000 naira, can you imagine you cannot go to Aja and come back? So most of the vehicle, we used to leave our vehicle in the house and join public buses.
If I'm traveling from here to the east, from Lagos to maybe to Onitsha, I'll spend the fuel worth of almost 70, 80,000 naira. So if I enter public transport, I'll spend just like 15 to 20,000 naira. So nowadays, we prefer entering public transport than using a private car. So that fuel price is very, very affecting. It's very, very affecting. The government should look into it and see how they can come down to the price so that the individualities can use their private cars so that things can be easy for everyone.
With the number of cars on the road now significantly reduced, as more people park their cars due to fuel cost, the pressure on commercial buses, taxis, and mini buses in Lagos has been increased as many scramble to get to their various destinations. How long will this continue? Only time can tell.
The Lagos State government has said that there is no going back on the proposed increase in the boarding fees of its model colleges. Over the weekend, parents of boarding students in the different model colleges in the state staged a protest kicking against the proposed increase in school fees. In a statement released on Tuesday, the Deputy Director of Public Affairs in the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, Ganyu Lawal, said the state government revealed that the increase in the fees is inevitable as it will ensure that students are well catered for while in school. Lawal noted that students in the boarding schools were over 1% of the entire basic and secondary school students' population in public schools in the state. According to Lawal, the 35,000 naira boarding fees being paid since 2021 is not realistic in 2024. The Lagos State government recently approved the upward review of boarding fees payable in all public boarding schools in Lagos State. The newly approved fee is 100,000 naira only and starts from the ongoing session which commenced on September 15, 2024. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Reactions trail disconnection of SIM cards yet to be linked to national identification numbers. This and more stories after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the news update on Trust Television. Here's a recap of our top stories again. 5 rescued, 9 bodies recovered as search continues after Zamfara boat mishap. And bandits kill 3, abduct 30 New Kaduna church attacks. And moving on to other stories now, in a major move to enhance security and streamline telecom services, mobile lines not linked to national identification numbers are set to be disconnected. The initiative aims to boost network integrity, curb fraud, and improve regulatory oversight. Users who don't update their NIN risk losing access to services. Trust TV's Dorcas Yakubu spoke with Abuja residents and a communications expert on the matter.
Telecom companies are set to disconnect mobile lines not linked to national identification numbers (NINs) as part of efforts to boost security and streamline services. The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) gave a September 14, 2024 deadline for users to link their SIMs to NINs, stressing the importance of this measure in reducing fraud and cybercrime. A telecoms expert noted that the disconnections will occur in batches, highlighting the necessity of the move.
There are individuals, and I think what the MNOs are doing, they are doing a systemic targeted approach. So they are individuals, they are selecting in batches and they are suspending, unlike the previous one where they did millions almost all together. We keep clamoring about security. We keep talking about government not doing enough to address kidnapping and what have you. These are part of the measures government is taking.
Regarding disconnections, even after linking SIMs to NINs, the expert attributed the issue to conflicting data during SIM registration.
There are instances where somebody will do the NIN pairing and it will not work. Do you know why that happens? It's simply because right from the person that registered the number and the person that is trying to do the NIN pairing are two different people. So in that regard, you have to go physically to the office, the telecom operator's office, and then check to see whose name is there.
Some Abuja residents have compiled with the NCC's directive, viewing this development as a step toward a more secure and well-regulated telecommunications environment.
So immediately they just sensitized people about it. I went ahead and get my lines linked. Following the ugly trends we have here in the country, insecurity and all whatnot. So definitely it's very, very important you link your lines.
My line cannot be blocked because I am conscious of my line, because I'm a businessman. My phone is my office. So if you block my line, which means you have blocked my office, you have closed my office. So I don't allow my phone to my line to be blocked.
For Deacon Favor, the SIM and NIN linkage came at a price of 3,000 naira.
It cost me money, about 3,000. 3,000. Most people don't even know. They are not aware because about 60% of Nigerians are illiterate. And unless they are told, and most people now, because of the banking procedures, you go to the counters to withdraw money, they don't go to the banks, so they don't even know what's happening there. So it's very difficult for them to know unless they are compelled. And that is what they are trying to do by compelling them to go and do what they are supposed to do.
The move by telecom companies to disconnect lines not linked to national identification numbers is a crucial step in enhancing security and telecom integrity. By enforcing this linkage, authorities aim to reduce fraud, ensure accurate data, and improve network management. Users must update their information promptly to avoid service disruptions and comply with new regulations. This initiative marks a significant shift towards a more secure and efficient telecom infrastructure, benefiting both users and service providers. Dorcas Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thanks to Dorcas for that report. And to stories outside the shores of Nigeria. Gunmen attacked a military police base early on Tuesday in the Malian capital, Bamako, where gunfire and explosions were heard when the airport was closed. Volleys of gunfire interspersed with explosions began at around 5 o'clock, with black smoke seen rising from an area near the airport. A witness said he and other worshippers were stuck in a mosque near the area during early morning prayers. The French high school Libert announced it would remain closed due to external events, while staff at the United Nations mission in Mali received a message urging them to limit movements until further notice. And in sports, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has confirmed the dates for the African Nations Championship CHAN 2024 final tournament. CAF President Patrice Motsepe, while confirming the date, said CHAN 2024 will be played between 1st to 28th February 2025. The decision followed the meeting of the CAF Executive Committee in Nairobi, Kenya on Monday, 16th September 2024. The first round of the qualifiers will be played on the weekend of 25th to 27th October 2024. While CHAN is scheduled to be hosted in East Africa, CAF says it will communicate in due course stadiums and other venues to be used for the competition. On Sunday, CAF President Motsepe visited some of the venues in Kenya that are being prepared for CHAN. Senegal are the current champions of CHAN after they defeated host Algeria 2 years ago in Algiers. And that wraps up the news update of this hour. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube for more news, programs and documentaries. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching. Join us again.